Well, hello everyone. How you doing? I think I am a little too close to the camera. I had to, no, that's not working either. Well, we're gonna leave it like this. Want to check out my shirt? Whoops, sorry. This is from the LP of Louisiana. I've had it forever. In any event, I've messed with my staging here a bit. I want to show you, and then we're going to get right into it. We do have documents to reference. Here's my side camera. I don't know if you can see it, but you probably can't. Let me move this a little bit. Now you can. Right there is my iPad. So it's kind of in the way of the screen, but allows me to read things without looking down and shuffling paper. We'll see how that goes. Okay, before we get into the subject matter, I want to pull up here the support the support screen. Please subscribe. That's the best way you can help this channel, and that doesn't cost you a thing. You can also follow me on Twitter at Karen Ann Harlos. You won't find me there today because I've started a new habit, which is no Twitter on Fridays. Now, some of you might go, hey, I found out that you're streaming live tonight on Twitter. That's my program that posts automatically to Twitter. That's not me. That's a loophole. But I don't read or get on Twitter on Fridays. It was becoming addictive, and you have to break the cycle. And boy, was it hard, even just for today, for the first day, because I decided this morning. And below, you can see the best way you can support me is on Patreon. I really, really appreciate it. And you do get advanced viewing of some content, most specifically my, review discussion of the case for Christian nationalism. So yeah, do that. Patreon.com/Pink Flame of Liberty. I would really appreciate it. And hello, HVAC soldier. What's up? What's up? I'm going to tell you what's up. So I really struggled on how to approach this topic. Why? Because I'm not terribly involved in the party anymore, and I really don't want to be all up in the drama. And the only reason why I even decided to comment on this is because the person we're going to be speaking of had to obliquely reference me in a statement, but wouldn't say my name. I'm 99% sure they were referring to me. There's one other person they could be referring to, and we'll talk about that and why I don't think it's that person. But I'm not going to be like that. And I was like, let's not name names. Let's just discuss it. No, I'm going to name names. Let me tell you, a problem in the party right now is, now that the shock and awe of what Angela did wore off in the Mises Caucus, we are filled with a bunch of appeasers. No. A caucus came in and tried to absolutely wreck this party. People still involved with it? No. There's no appeasement. We've seen what happened. I used to be a part of it. I had to repent. And I've spent, the last year and a half trying to make good and try to repair bridges wherever I can. But I'm not playing into the appeasement crowd. People want to go on their way and be left alone. I'm fine with that. But if they're still going to try to be party wreckers, no, I'm going to call them out. I'm not in the LNC. There ain't a thing you can do to me. And everyone always liked it when I was a bit more blunt. So you've got the old Karen Ann back. But again, I'm not even terribly involved anymore. But we're going to go through this. Okay, so what are we talking about? Let's give some background history. So first of all, state party conventions are going on right now. And the Libertarian Party of Washington, their convention is coming up. I believe it's March 28th. Now, let me let you know, I don't know hardly anything about I don't know anything except for what we're going to talk about today about what's going on in Washington. Haven't minded their business. I don't know who their chair is. And I only found about what we're going to talk about today, because I'm not paying attention to this stuff. So let's just get that right out there. And in the past, I've had a great relationship with the Libertarian Party of Washington. I've been convention parliamentarian for them several times. There are some great people there. Layla Bush, Data Logan. There's ones I'm sure I'm forgetting, but those are the two that came right to the top of my mind, who are just fantastic activists and who really care about the Libertarian Party of Washington. So this isn't about any kind of personal beef with the affiliate. I don't even know who their leadership is. And I still don't know who their leadership is, because the people we're going to be talking about are just members. They're not in they're not in leadership. So let's go back. Let's go back to when the Mises Caucus, before the cracks really started to show. And back when, and I've talked about this before, and we'll talk about it a little bit again, when I should have seen Angela for what she was. That is my bad. I can explain why I didn't see it, but that doesn't make it right. I should have. No excuses. Well, let's go back and talk about that. So there's always been somewhat of a power struggle in the Mises Caucus. Despite being an officer on the LNC, I never was in the inner circle. They kept me distant because they realized I was a bottle of nitroglycerin, that there would be a point over which I would not cross. And that came to the head with the joint fundraising committee. But before that, the Region 1 representative was Miguel Duque. Miguel was very, very Mises. He was married to he is married and has a child with. They might have more than one child by now. Because again, I haven't kept up of the then chair of the Libertarian Party of Washington, Anna Duque, who's an extremely two-faced woman. All of this will become relevant. I'm not just being catty. Angela and Anna were really good friends, but they're very much alike. In fact, I think Anna might be more ambitious than Angela. I think she's smarter than Angela. But those two were thick as thieves. Now, I had no idea how much Anna Duque hated my guts. As far as I was concerned, we were cool. See, here's something about me, if me and you, the hypothetical viewer. If I hate your guts, you're going to know it. I'm not going to be a catty little bitch behind your back. I'll be a catty little bitch to your face. That's my style. I don't play those games. But it turns out, Angela was never my friend, which of course we all know that now. But Anna and Miguel very much want power. And for a while, Anna had a huge influence over Angela, or at least she thought she did. But somewhere along the line, they thought Angela was listening too much to me or not enough to them, whatever. I don't really care why they had a falling out. They had a falling out. And Miguel decided he was going to get even with Angela by releasing, if you guys don't remember, and I'll probably stick a link to this in... Actually, I'm not going to, and I'll tell you why. You all can find it. I'm not going to, because someone who has also since left the Mises Caucus shared some personal information in these released files that was totally wrong for Miguel to not at least redact that. Had nothing to do with anything. I'm friendly with this person, I'm fond of this person, and I don't want to link to something that's going to cause them pain, even though it's already out there. But they released something that became known as the Angela Files. And a lot of what it comprised of, or comprised, because you don't put comprised with of, was this internal Mises chat. The one thing that was immediately obvious in this internal Mises chat was that I was not part of it. So I think people started to believe me then that I was not ever part of the inner circle. But while Angela was using me and playing nice to my face, she was just saying the most horrible shit about me in this secret thing. It showed how utterly two-faced she was. And then there was chats between Angela and Anna. So back during the whole removal controversy in 2021, Angela prayed with me. This is just how scummy she is. And how she was on my side and whatever. Meantime, in the Angela Files, at the exact same period of time that woman was praying with me and Wayne could tell you stories about the conversations they had, but he doesn't want to be involved in any of this. She was having catty bitchy little chats with Anna, and literally during that meeting is like, oh, I can't stand her. I can't wait for they to remove her. Meanwhile, she's hugging me and praying with whatever. It just showed how two-faced she was. And the chat showed that Angela was trying to get the secretary position. I mean, it was so dirty. Now, bad on me. For once this got released, I should have quit right then and just saw Angela for what she was. But this isn't an excuse. This is an explanation. I'm an adult. I need to learn to deal with my own stuff. But if you want to know why, without it being an excuse, I was a damaged person. I couldn't handle seeing it at that time. I probably should have resigned from the LNC at that point and just took the time to heal. Actually, that would have been probably the right thing to do. Instead, I suppressed it. Angela got on the phone with me desperate. She didn't want me to turn on her on the LNC. She was crying. She apologized. She said, you know, Anna brought out the mean girl in her. She totally threw Anna under the bus. Why I didn't see that as her doing to me, with Anna, doing Anna to me like I was stupid. I was stupid, okay? And then she put that post on the LNC list that was basically bros before hoes type thing, where she totally threw Anna under the bus and, you know, about how she got caught up in this mean girl thing, okay? And I bought it like a sucker. But y'all should take a look at, if you want to see who these people really are, go and take a look at that, okay? And other people apologized to me from all of that, such as Kathy Anaskavich, and then she turned around and wasn't so nice of a person later anyway. In any event, it shows who those people are. And the ones that saw the mirror held up and were ashamed, they quit. There's people who left since then. It's like, yeah, that wasn't right. And y'all can figure out who. Again, I don't want to drag some other names into it that might want to just put this stuff behind them. So that's where these names come into play. Miguel was then removed by Region 1, if I remember correctly, for violating executive session, because also in the Angela files was an internal document that was privileged, covered under an NDA with the LNC. He might have felt it was worth it to be, if he considered it a whistleblower. It really wasn't a whistleblower on the state of the party. It was because they felt Angela lost control of the Mises Caucus, and the Mises Caucus lost its way. So lest you think, oh, this guy exposed Angela, these two, they must be on our side. No, they were mad at the Mises Caucus that they weren't Miseing enough. So however bad you think the Mises Caucus was, these folks wanted it to be worse. They're not good people just because they exposed Angela. It's a classic example of unfed sharks in a tank. So some people have said to me, with what we're going to discuss about the Libertarian Party of Washington, if they're doing this for Angela, absolutely not. I have no reason to believe they're now in cahoots with Angela. Maybe, though, there's no honor amongst thieves, and I'm using that expression colloquially. I'm not accusing Anna or Miguel of thievery, and the only thing I've said about Angela is what's been shown is embezzlement, but that's just using that as an expression. So since then, apparently they've turned very radical agorist, which is fine. I have lots of radical agorist friends. No shade on that. They leave the party and they move on. So just to go back, I don't think let me give you another reason why I don't think they're doing this for Angela. And it's not just because I don't think that they'd ever be friends again. It's because Angela doesn't want affiliates to dissolve. Angela wants to give away the party to whoever she can try to, you know, whore it out to in 2028. She wants there to be a party. So this is not in Angela's interests. Angela is very much playing the political game, whereas Miguel and Anna are playing the anti-political game. Okay, so how this all started and was brought to my attention made me decide to do a show on it when normally I just wouldn't even get involved. We're going to pull up this next screen. I lost my mouse. There it is, because when you have two monitors, you know how it goes. And I'm going to have this document on my iPad in front of me, and hopefully that will stop the looking down and all of that. Hopefully you'll be able to see it. But if you can't, you could go read this on Third Party Watch, thirdpartywatch.com. It's George Philly's blog, and it's at the top of the page. At least it was when I screenshots this, not screenshot. Yeah, I guess it's screenshot or PDF printed it. So LP Washington to vote on dissolving itself. We're gonna read the whole article because it is just so superciliously, emphasis on silly, narcissistic. This is so typical Miguel Duque. If any of you remember him from the LNC. Remember, he's the guy who argued against transparency. Susan Hogarth kept putting up this screenshot. I should have grabbed it, where he said, we don't want members to see how the sausage is made. Okay. I'm gonna scoot a little closer because I'm at the age where I have to have different magnifying readers depending upon the distance of the item from me. And I have my iPhone readers on, which is for real close when I need my computer readers on. So, but we're going to deal with it. Libertarian Party of Washington posted the agenda for its annual convention. Does anyone know when they posted this agenda? Because this article's coming out 1 week before. Their bylaws have a certain requirement for, well, we're going to get into this, that would have required this to be posted by March 8th. I should have gone to the Wayback Machine. Does anyone wish to, during the show, go to the Wayback Machine to the Libertarian Party of Washington? It's on the convention page. And then somewhere on that page, it says view the party booklet or convention booklet that has the agenda in it. Go and see if it was there on March 8th. Or if there was any period of time after March 8th when it wasn't there. Because if so, we're going to look at the bylaws again. I'm going by memory from what I looked at earlier today. I don't think they gave not proper notice of the convention, but proper notice of this thing they want to do. But we're going to look at the Washington bylaws. Okay, so they posted the agenda March 28th in Tacoma with a motion to dissolve the Libertarian Party of Washington at the end of convention. I am going to be a little catty here. Probably should have said a German sine die, but they don't know what they're doing. Miguel Duque, former LNC member and former LPWA State Executive Committee member, and Anna Johnson Duque, former chair of LPWA, are sponsors of the motion. Because of course they are. Because they're party wreckers. Estimated support for the motion is unknown. And I don't know that either, because I haven't kept in track. I'm not, again, I haven't talked to anyone from Washington. It is the first item up for, and hello, I see a hello over there. So I like the audience participation. So hi. Estimates for a motion. Okay. It's the first item up for consideration following the call to order, credentialing, and officer reports. And this is wrong and will require a simple majority vote to succeed. This is wrong, and I'm going to show you it's wrong. And I'm wondering where George got this information. Wouldn't surprise me if he got it from Miguel, but it also wouldn't surprise me if George just guessed or inferred it from a statement that's coming up next. But it's wrong, and I'll show you it's wrong. And anyone who knows a lick about parliamentary procedure and bylaws should realize why that's 99% wrong. Chance of being wrong without even looking at their bylaws. I'll tell you a situation in which it would be correct. And also, this phrase, simple majority, needs to die in a fire screaming for its mother, because why add a word when majority suffices? As opposed to what? A complex majority? Arguments in favor pertain to the inefficacy of the Libertarian Party in its 50-plus year existence at the national and local levels, the cost in time and resources for volunteers and donors, and an urgency for proponents of liberty to employ more practical solutions beyond electoral and legislative politics. Okay, we're going to get, because the narcissistic, self-important, somebody who thinks people like the sound of their voice more than they actually do argument is coming up. Opponents of the motion, I wonder who George talked to or if he's just guessing, contend that the LP, while limited in reach and impact, should continue to encourage political and civil engagement. This motion comes at a time of sharp decline in membership and volunteer activity within LPWA. The state party enjoyed rapid growth in 2020 and 2021 at the height of the Mises Caucus takeover, with over 400 dues-paying members. Subsequent years saw sustained decreases in renewals, with the current membership now totaling less than 100. So he must be talking to someone at LPWA, because I wouldn't have known that number. But isn't that pathetic? Isn't that pathetic? Party wreckers, absolute party wreckers. The Duquets both ceased involvement in 2024. Yeah, but they got to come back to try to piss in everyone else's Cheerios. In the national and local LP and the Mises Caucus, citing widespread malfeasance amongst LNC members. I don't remember, but maybe they had some accusations of that in there too. I don't recall that. I recall the catty stuff, but maybe they alleged some kind of malfeasance. I don't recall. Those of you more familiar with the Angela files, you can stick it in chat if in fact they did. Staff and organizers and personal priorities for higher level things such as child rearing and homesteading. The Region 1 state chairs ousted Mr. Duque in 2023 after leaking a confidential document and chats with fellow LNC members revealing an organizational culture mired in distrust and lack of accountability. And I would add, an absolute disgusting viciousness. Mr. Duque offered these additional comments. Oh, so he must have talked to Miguel. God, and even reading this just made me want to throw up in my mouth a little bit, because it's so unself-aware at how pretentious it is. This is not an effort to disaffiliate from the LP. So the entire party is plainly unfit to exist. Okay. You can think that, and you don't need to be a part of it. While the National Party could also be, this is only reason why I'm commenting, why I got drawn in, because he had to open his pie hole and say something not true. Now, I'm not going to say he lied. He could be simply misremembering, because I don't know. I mean, it wouldn't be something I would think unthinkable, but I have no proof that he knew he wasn't telling the truth. While the National Party could also be dissolved by a simple majority vote of the delegates, according to a parliamentarian and former LNC secretary who shall not be named, he's 99% referring to me and doesn't have the testicular fortitude to say my name. The only other person who would meet that description is Alicia Matson. And Alicia Matson wouldn't say this either. And I don't think they know each other, but perhaps they do. Maybe he's misremembering something Alicia Matson said, but neither she nor I would ever say this. For one thing, neither she nor I would ever use the phrase simple majority. Anyone who knows me knows that. But that is simply not true. The National Party cannot be dissolved by a majority vote. I would never say that. That is absolutely basic. We're going to continue to read his self-serving little screed here. We're going to go through the pile of twaddle. But after that, we're going to talk about this statement. Okay. Being that is unlikely, state and local members should take a stand and break the cycle of waste, fraud, abuse, and disappointment. You could just walk away. Nobody's forcing you to be here. Don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Citing Mr. Bill Redpath. by dissolving their affiliate and diverting its resources toward voluntarist direct action and mutual aid. For decades, the LP has churned and burned out countless excited. Now, let me turn the page for you guys and go next page on my Kindle, into alienation and apathy. Most recently, a huge wave of new energy and a so-called takeover was reduced to little more than a few people promoting podcasts. I mean, this part of his statement is true. There's always a little bit of truth in the manure, isn't there? Selling boner pill. I don't know what that's about. Is someone selling boner pills? That would be amusing. I'd like to clip that. Let me know. Comedy tickets and endorsing Trump and then apologizing for it. I guess maybe he means Heist, because Heist did apologize, kinda. He didn't apologize to all the people he hurt along the way, but kinda. He regrets it, let's put that. After hundreds of their fans devoted countless time and money towards campaigns and conventions. I'm going to put this on the screen because, yeah. But they listen, HVAC soldier, they're your daddies. They got to do this for your good. This is, I'm going to keep this up here because that's, yes, let's continue. Am I the only one who feels like a total sucker? You can feel that way. I feel like a total sucker for ever being involved in the Mises Caucus. How much longer will this go on while not one shred of omnipotent statism is repealed or prevented by LP candidates and reps who just love hearing themselves talk? The irony! Oh my God, I must have a sound clip for this somewhere. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. I can't believe he said that. The world is facing ever more serious problems that will not be solved by more committees, bylaws, Zoom meetings, or discard arguments. I'm such a giving person. I would be perfectly content with just quitting the party and being left alone. You know, me, I would be content with that. But I cannot abide by seeing well-meaning activists keep falling for the same trap in perpetuity. So like the government, I need to protect you from yourself. Even though I think you're making a mistake and it's sheerly voluntary, I want to take away your choice to do so because I know so much better. The almighty Miguel Duque. Yeah, okay. Oh, what a turd. Please, if you can't abolish big government, abolish something. Just abolish your membership, dude. Preach against the party all you want. Plenty of people do. There was a little pamphlet put out in response to David Nolan a long time ago, and I've covered it on the show, and if I remember, I'll stick it up there, but you know I won't. He put out an article, The Case for a Libertarian Political Party, and some people think like you do, put out the case against a libertarian political party. But as you say, countless people put in a lot of work and people still believe in it. But you think it's your right, even though you don't even care about the LPWA, that you've got to destroy something for other people. You could just warn them. You could just start your competing group, but that would be too hard because you guys are just shit-stirring party wreckers, as it were. Listen, I'm not terribly involved anymore. I'm not looking to keep other people from being involved. I don't donate anymore to National, but I don't tell other people not to. I just tell them what I think and people can do what they wish, though I'm considering re-donating because it looks like they're going to be holding Angela accountable. Steve hasn't brought a motion yet to do so, but once I see a suit filed, I am restarting my monthly donations. But that's me. I would encourage others to, if and when that happens, but that's me. But in any event, let's go back to my other screen for a moment. A question was asked, if LPWA is dissolved, who gets all that money? Listen, if they're anything like most affiliates, the Mises Caucus, again, was a party wrecking machine. And I doubt they have any money. The bylaws may say, I don't know if they're incorporated. If they are, nonprofit corporation law might have something to say about that, and also any articles of incorporation. So I don't know the answer to that. But we're going to go back to Mr. Duquet's assertion that the National Party could be dissolved by a majority vote. That is absolutely incorrect. I'm going to give you a basic parliamentary answer to this, but I'm going to let you know it's not complete, because there could be non-incorporated assembly laws in DC that have something to say about this. There could be legal things, but I'm going to give you the parliamentary answer. And yes, Chuck, we're going to get into this, because what he's doing is really just self-pleasuring, because we're going to go over the options as to what's going to happen, because they have another baby fit they're going to throw that we're going to go over, because if they don't get their way with the dissolution, they're trying to change the bylaws to make it basically not a political party anymore. It is just so self-centered. In any event, what vote, if in theory, say there was no legal impediments, what vote threshold would it take to dissolve the National Party? Well, let's see, because Roberts does talk about this. And this is so basic. Again, I never would have said majority vote. And I'm going to tell you a little bit of a wrinkle in this, but I think it's one of those things where it's a technicality that doesn't make a difference. So there's two things. If we go to Roberts 55.1, wait, no, wrong one. If we go to 55.4, dissolution of a society, it makes a difference between an incorporated and an unincorporated society. The LNC is incorporated. The LNC, though, is not the party. The party is an unincorporated assembly called the Libertarian Party. Even the Articles of Incorporation of the Libertarian National Committee, Inc. make that distinction, that if for some reason they didn't want to have a nonprofit corporation running the party, the assets of the party, the LNC could dissolve and the Libertarian Party would still exist. And it talks about, if the LNC dissolves, how all the assets that are under the management of the LNC go to the unincorporated assembly, which is the Libertarian Party. So we're going to then just refer to dissolution of an unincorporated society. So in the case of an unincorporated society, a resolution should be prepared, such as resolved that the X society be dissolved as of a certain date. The resolution may be preceded by a preamble setting forth the reasons, but here's what goes, here's the key point. It is, in effect, a motion to rescind the bylaws, and therefore requires for its adoption the same notice and vote to amend them. So, unfortunately, and I've said this is a big gaping hole in the National Party for a long time, we don't have a notice requirement. That is completely insane and should be fixed. But we do obviously have a vote threshold, and it's 2/3. It's not a majority, it's 2/3. Technically, I don't think all of the bylaws could be rescinded with a 2/3 vote, because there is a provision in the bylaws. Let's put this up, though I think this is a technicality without a difference. 1 second here. Oh, I need to go to this screen. I was like, where'd the bylaws go? So that's the article. Let's get this off. Let's put up the National Party bylaws. Let me get these up on my Kindle here. And let me just find what page we're looking for. We're looking for the page on amendment of the bylaws. Right there. So it's Article 17. Let me find that page on my Kindle. These bylaws may be amended by a 2/3 vote of the delegates at any regular convention. So a 2/3 vote. But look at number 2. Article 3, Section 1, or this section shall not be amended by a vote of less than 7/8 of all registered delegates at convention. So technically, I think you could delete all of the bylaws, effectively rescinding them, except for Article 17.2 and Article 3, Section 1. What is Article 3, Section 1? It has to do with the statement of principles. And I think you could just have a mass meeting soon after that with the statement of principles as the foundation, go back to 72 and just restart over. In any event, again, this might be a technicality, but Article 3, Section 1 talks about the statement of principles. So all that would end up still existing is the statement of principles. But there's not going to ever be a 2/3 vote at convention in any event. But this should be another reason why you guys should do a notice requirement. Because, and again, there might be laws. I'm just giving a parliamentarian bylaws answer here. There might be laws in DC that require even more. And I would tend to think there are. So this is like the floor. I actually think the ceiling is probably even harder. Let me give you an example of how things like that can come to bite you in the butt. Is we have an illegal bylaws provision in there right now. Something got amended in DC, and it was the vote required to, and by the way, this goes back to the argument on the alleged backdoor that amendment I read you, Article 17, Section 2, I got that passed in, was it 2018 or 2020? One of those years. But it turns out there was a law that already protected us, but, you know, laws can easily change and you end up going to court and all that. But we passed a bylaws amendment in DC that changed the vote threshold to approve new delegates that weren't previously submitted to the Credentials Committee after the calling to order of convention from 7/8 to 2/3. Well, there apparently is a DC law. Again, I could be incorrect on this. Talk to a lawyer. So I shouldn't say we have an illegal bylaws provision. We have an allegedly illegal one. Lawyers need to take a look at it. Stephen Nicola should have, maybe he does have something. I can't say he didn't. Maybe he does have something planned. But I believe there's a procedural law that says if there's something in your bylaws that requires a certain vote threshold, that you can't amend it by anything less than that vote threshold. If that is in fact the case, the statement of principles was already protected, but I'd rather be safe. But it means that we weren't able to amend that bylaws requirement because it barely passed with 2/3 and it would need a 7/8 vote. So that statement he said about dissolving the National Party is absolutely incorrect. But it becomes relevant here because we're going to now look at the Libertarian Party of Washington bylaws. Let me get those up on my Kindle here. So I need to find the section I'm looking for. Great. I had it before. Oh, there it is. It's at the top of a page, so it makes it weird. All right, so go down to the bottom of this page where it says Article 1, name and affiliation. Name easy enough. And it says, you know, we, the sustaining members, desire to clearly state that we want the Libertarian Party of Washington to remain affiliated with and supportive of the National Libertarian Party by default. Any move to disaffiliate the state party from National, let's go to the next page, or disband the state party entirely must have the support of a 7/8 majority. No, it's just 7/8, a majority. Anyway, of all delegates at an annual convention in which notice has been included that this topic will be voted upon. So that's where we got into the notice thing. So notice is required for this motion. And we're going to go later in the bylaws where it talks about the number of days that notice is. But here you can see the party's purpose. This is going to become relevant because there's something else that they're going to try, presuming that they don't succeed in dissolving the party. But something else I wanted to look at here, if we go to the next page. So sustaining members, someone who paid dues within 12 months. Okay, I need to find the bylaw. Some of this is just overly wordy. These bylaws are too long. Maybe it's a lot of spacing too. No, they're too long. Where's annual party conventions? Okay, it's page 16. So let's see if we can get this up here. Okay, it starts down, you see down at the bottom of the page, it says annual party conventions. Okay, next page. Hold on, I'm looking for the notice thing. So the convention agenda, so it's number 14 there. Convention agenda, order of the day, it should say orders, it doesn't matter. Convention rules and written platform, plank, or bylaw changes shall be made available to party sustaining members 20 days prior to the annual convention. And it says notice is sufficient if it's on the website. Now, this doesn't specifically refer to that notice about the dissolution, but I think that's the only reasonable way to interpret that notice requirement, is to go to the most generous to the mover notice requirement here in these bylaws. And why I say most generous, if you go up to, oh, are we not on the right page here? Yeah, there we go. If you go up to paragraph number 10, there's a 60-day notice requirement, but that's just for the date and location city. I don't think it's reasonable to require that notice to be 60 days, but down 14 to paragraph 14 where it's 20 days, I think that is reasonable. So I would like to know if the convention agenda was posted on the party website by March 8th. If not, I don't think the agenda necessarily would be out of order, because a regular meeting, you can have an agenda, you can do things, regular business, but any platform revisions, which I don't think there are any, and any bylaws changes, they would have blown notice, and they can't do that. So that would be interesting. Their convention would still be valid, but those things would, I think, just upon a brief review. This is not a thorough opinion or anything like that. I just started looking at this today, so take it with that grain of salt, but that seems pretty logical to me. Now let's go to the agenda that they gave notice for. Let me get that up on the screen here first. So it's in their convention booklet. It's on the website. I want to get it on my screen here. It's a nice booklet, but let me find where the business agenda is. Here it is. It's on the 4th page, 2, 3, 4. Okay, you see that right after the treasurer's report. Motion to dissolve the Libertarian Party of Washington at the end of convention. Okay. Why you would wait to the end of convention is dumb. If you're going to dissolve it, you don't need to do any of those other things. Maybe he's got some method to that madness. I don't know. But you notice after that, there's a bylaws amendment. So for proposed amendments, see page 6, because this is the other little dirty trick that they're trying. So if he can't kill the party, he's going to try to do suicide by LNC, or we'll go into the scenarios. This is going to get into what Dr. Moulton said in chat. So here's page 6. Whoops. So if they don't dissolve it, they want to modify the party's purpose by deleting everything and basically saying we won't be a political party. Because look at number 3, not engaging in the political system. Why would you be a political party and not, okay, as a body with actions, endorsements, or other alignments with specific political objectives? That makes no sense with the rest of it, but in any event, it doesn't matter. I don't need to make this make sense. Oh, that gives me a
make it make sense.
Yeah, I don't have to do that. But in any event, so if they can't dissolve the party, they want to just gut it through bylaws. Now, this isn't 100% certain what I'm going to say next, because I haven't given it sufficient thought. This is just my initial thought. I actually think this is a motion that's out of order, because if we actually, I'm starting to become more certain of it as I'm talking with you. If we go back to the Washington bylaws, you can't pass something that conflicts with another section of your bylaws. He didn't think this through enough. Let's go to the beginning of their bylaws. Okay, I'm going to have to go around here just to look at it. So it says that they want to state clearly to be affiliated and supportive of the National Party. The National Party exists in part of the purpose statement. Let's not guess. Let's pull up the national bylaws. Party purposes, functioning as a libertarian political party. So them changing their purposes to not be a political party in one section and state in another that they are to be supportive of the National Party, those two things conflict. I think these bylaw changes are out of order and should be ruled so. I know nothing about the chair of Washington, but this is definitely a point of order I think that should be made. But I also think it's out of order for another reason. So let me go back to the national bylaws on my iPad for a second, because I want to read those purposes. So functioning as a libertarian political entity, separate and distinct from all other political parties or movements, electing libertarians to public office to move public policy in a libertarian direction, doesn't have to chartering, nominating candidates, and entering into public information activities. It quite obviously is to be a political party. Even the statement of principles talks about that. Crap, I should have had the statement of principles up here. I don't, contrary to popular opinion or popular belief, do not have it memorized. So I think I'm going to, excuse me, let me pull it up on my phone. Give me 1 second. Let's go down. Is the platform at the bottom? See, this is how not involved. Yeah, it is at the bottom. I don't really hardly even go to the website anymore. Statement of principles. Even within the United States, all political parties other than our own. So the underlying presumption of everything is that we are to be a political party. Also, if you go under affiliate parties, where it talks about the things that they, 1 second here, that they cannot do, like endorse a candidate who's a member of another party. it's like quite obvious that everything in this is to be a political party. So to amend their bylaws to state that they're an anti-political party is in conflict not only with their own bylaws, which would cause it to be out of order, but also in conflict with the national bylaws. So we're going to go here to Roberts 2.2. An assembly or society is free to adopt any rules it may wish, provided that we can skip some stuff. The only limitations upon the rules that a body can thus adopt might arise from the rules of a parent body. So the parent, whether people like it or not, affiliates are the relationship, the parliamentary relationship of affiliates to the National Party is parent-child. And I don't mean that in a like human way, but it's the parent organization and the progeny organization. Nobody has to be an affiliate of the National Party. And also, affiliates are chartered. And if you go, if that word is even used in the bylaws, I think it's in section 5. Am I going the wrong way? No, let me find it. Yeah, Article 5. Where's Article 5? It's down there. Okay. It says, number 2, the National Party shall charter state-level affiliates. And Roberts, this is footnote 4, but I'm trying to see what it's a footnote to. I hate fucking footnotes. I like endnotes so much better. So it's a footnote to 2.7. Footnote 4 says the word charter may also refer to a certificate issued by a national or state organization granting the right to form a particular local or subordinate unit. If you don't like parent-child, subordinate unit is what I know. Libertarians don't like that word, but it's voluntary. It says a charter carries with it the requirement that the subordinate unit adopt no rules that conflict with those of the grantor. So that is another argument there. Now let's go back to this screen where, hold on, I lost my mouse again because I think that's all we need to go over. Do I have any other documents? No, those are the only documents I have. Okay. And I want to pull my iPad down so I can see you guys, clearly. Let me get this stand out of the way. It's nice and sturdy though. So to get back to Chuck's point, which I want to put up here, even if the LPWA dissolves, the LNC will just affiliate a new group. Exactly. It will affiliate a new group immediately, probably. But in any event, that is what will happen. Because no matter the ever-wise Miguel Duque, he cannot protect everyone from themselves, and those silly, foolish activists will still want to get involved because he can't ban them from doing it for life, and they will just form a new one. So he wants to waste more resources because people want what they want, and they're just going to form a new one, despite his paternalistic protecting. So even his own argument is hosted on its own petard. But if they don't form a new one, so obviously if dissolution happens, that's immediately what is going to happen. But like, say it doesn't pass, but that bylaws amendment, be it out of order, as it may be, which I doubt, there's anyone who wants to fight things legally in Washington state, but perhaps there is. No one's going to stick around for that. So it will fizzle to the point where some people who actually want to do political work will come in and amend those bylaws, and it'll be right back to where it is again. This, again, is just a self-pleasuring activity by the Duques. It has no effect because it's just to make things harder on people and to crap on the work of other people. That's all it is. Or let's say those, so in any event, it's going to just reform, whether it's a brand new affiliate, whether it's letting this one wither away for a while and then a group comes in and just changes those bylaws back, or the LNC disaffiliates them. In any event, I agree with you, Chuck. They couldn't immediately, though, because how did I lose my train of thought? Oh, because of the 5-month requirement, there can be no disaffiliations within 5 months of a national convention. And I'm not going to give, I have a personal opinion on this. I'm just going to say what people are saying, but I'm not getting into this because, again, I'm trying to stay out of stuff. But if those bylaws changes pass, there very well could be, if they decided they wanted to come and try, funny business at the national convention, the delegates that are there that don't like these kinds of games could vote not to seat them, that they're diametrically opposed to the purpose of the organization. I'm not saying whether I think that would be parliamentarily correct or not. I could tell you what JJ has said, because I gave him a hypothetical once. Now, maybe he's since changed his mind, because people do change their minds and they have the right to do so. But I disagreed with him on this, so this will give you some idea of where my head is at. But I go, can you just not seat a delegation for any reason? He's like, yep. I go, yeah, I don't think that's correct. I said, let me give you a hypothetical. No offense to California here. This is just the hypothetical I gave him. And the reason I use California as an example is because they have the largest delegation. I said, so in theory, someone could get up and say, I move to strike from the Credentials Committee report the entire delegation from the state of California because on average, they're uglier than everyone else in this convention and they're bringing down the average attractiveness level of this convention. Would that be in order? And he said, yes. I don't agree. And maybe he doesn't anymore, but that's the exact example I gave. And there's also a possibility that I misunderstood him, but that's my understanding. So in any event, that's my understanding, and I don't agree with it, but delegates are going to do sometimes what delegates are going to do. That's the story. And I wouldn't have felt the need to comment if they didn't have to not name drop me and attribute to me something I did not say. Now, again, just like I said with what I said right now, perhaps I misunderstood or misremembered something that Mr. Jacobs had said, and he might have some further nuance. Just like that, he could be misremembering something I said. But I've set the record straight. I do not believe that the National Party can be dissolved by a majority vote. And I also, as I made it clear here, do not believe that you can just refuse to seat people for any reason whatsoever. But I also don't think that you can vote to remove someone for any reason whatsoever. And if I understand Mr. Jacobs correctly, he thinks that you can. He said cause can be, this is the example that was given to me, because I don't like you. I don't think that that's a reason either. I think cause means something, and in any event, that's just a philosophical. I'm not saying anyone is right or wrong. You get multiple parliamentarians in a room, you're going to have multiple opinions. It doesn't mean anyone is bad or incompetent or anything like that. It just means that they disagree. Okay, that is it, I think. I'm going to just give it a few minutes to see if there's any comments. Let me stick this up on the screen while we're waiting. Appreciate your support. Super chats also matter. And patreon.com/Pink Flame of Liberty, or you can follow me on Twitter. But remember, I'm not there today except through eCam automatically broadcasting. Now I'm going to, I keep saying I'm going to go back into my hole of not caring, but I think I'm doing another LP show because there are certain issues that I still do pay attention to national. It's like the affiliate stuff I don't pay attention to. Oh, and Chuck said, when is the convention? It's the 28th, so it's next Saturday. I don't even pay attention to what's going on in my state. I don't want to be paying attention to what's going on in Washington. I still do pay attention to the LNC. And that's more academic because I still do care about the party, even if I'm not terribly involved anymore. I certainly don't want it to dissolve. But there's a certain controversy going on right now, and I might have a show on this over the weekend. I'm trying to get a guest. If I don't get a guest, I'm probably not going to do it on my own. But there is a controversial appointment to the candidate support committee that if I can arrange things with this guest that I'll be talking about this weekend. Otherwise, we might do some Libertarian Party history. Back to simpler times. No, actually, I think actually this is the worst that it's ever been, but people who've been in the party longer can let me know. But it's not as if things haven't been bad before. Going back into history, from what I understand, there was huge rift in 1980. There also was the Portland mess. I mean, there's been big rifts in the party before. I think this is the worst it's been, though, but I could be wrong. And Chuck stuck up on here from a historical perspective. Did you see that Brian Dougherty passed away? He's done a lot of writing on the LP and the Libertarian movement history. Yes. You may not know this. I think a lot of people do. Brian and I kept in touch. Brian, I believe I met him at the 2016 convention. If it wasn't, then it was shortly thereafter at a Gary Johnson. I know I met Matt. I keep saying Matt Walsh. Walsh, the Wall at Reason, but I'm pretty sure I met Brian at the convention too. But we've kept in touch we had kept in touch over the years because he would write me about procedure, or about platform, or about bylaws. So again, yeah, we had kept in touch. And back, when I was battling with Angela, I had kept in touch with him, and Reason did a good article on that. Brian was the nicest guy. And there was a period of time when I was with Mises, and they were really shitty to Reason. And so there was a period of time when I wasn't the greatest to him. And certainly regret that, but we patched that up after I left Mises. Though, even when I was a bit blunt and short with him, he was always super nice, super gracious, super available. If I remember, which I won't. I try to remember these things. I need to just bring a notepad and note the time, so when to put these little things. But I'm going to try to put an end screen on this. I did a discussion of Radicals for Capitalism, which was written by Brian, did a whole series on it. It was a patron only thing. It's public right now, and I'll try to put that playlist at the end of this video, or you could just search on my channel for it, and I go chapter by chapter through that book. It is a fantastic historical work, so I'm really glad that I did that review. Okay, everyone, I think this is it. I'm sure I'm going to get fire and fury from the Duques. I don't care. I'm going to crawl back under my rock because I ain't about the drama no more. Okay, everyone. Have an awesome night. Bye-bye.
You gotta take what you're given, that's how we live it. Don't be mad at the system, it's simply how we've existed. I hear a lot of people talking like they politicians and choose to be an accountant because it's safe in a business, not because they want to